The streaming giant will become the exclusive video home for more than 15 of the top original iHeart podcasts. And Young Thug proposed to Mariah the Scientist during a concert in Atlanta. The couple have been dating for about 4 years. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Get your vehicle ready for all that extra holiday driving at your local Big O Tires. For a limited time, save $100 instantly on select sets of tires with paid installation. For your nearest store, visit BigOTires.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
With the Rams already qualifying for the NFC playoffs, Chargers fans are wondering what their team needs to do to make it to the postseason. The 10-4 Chargers have 3 ways to clinch a playoff spot Sunday in the AFC. They can clinch one of the 3 wildcard slots where they win Sunday at Dallas, and if Houston or Indianapolis lose on Sunday. Houston is at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. Indianapolis is at home against San Francisco. The Chargers should put their hopes on the 49ers. There is no way Houston is losing at home to the Raiders. The Chargers' final 2 regular season games are against Houston and Denver. The UCLA women's basketball team, ranked 4th in the country, had a practice game Tuesday night at Pauley Pavilion. They beat Cal Poly 115-28. Point guard Kiki Rice almost outscored the entire Cal Poly team by herself. She led the 10-1 Bruins with 23 points. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 year ago, flames tore through Altadena and Eaton Canyon, changing lives forever. From the ashes, can a beloved community rise stronger? Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, host of First Things First, weekday mornings, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580. And I'm inviting you to join us on Wednesday, January 7th, as we broadcast live from Perry's Joint on the 1-year anniversary of this horrific and devastating fire. We're remembering those we lost, celebrating the heroes and sheroes who answered the call, and honoring the resilience of neighbors who are determined to rebuild together.
I've been a strong black woman a long time, and I can't just break down now.
Hear the stories of survival, the voices of recovery, the spirit of community that the fire couldn't destroy, and yes, the angst of those who still do not know where they go from here.
Yeah, where am I go?
At KBLA Talk 1580, we don't just cover the story, we're part of this community, and we've done our level best to hold those responsible for this fire accountable. And 1 year later, we're still standing together.
It is my hopes that black people will rebuild those homes.
So join us live at Perry's Joint, 2051 Lincoln Avenue in Pasadena, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Wednesday, January 7th, as we commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire. Because some stories demand to be remembered.
This too shall pass.
Live from historic Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me. Back in stride again. Before we get started with today's show, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley, and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, Should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit thetavisSmileyShow.com. That's thetavisSmileyShow.com, or wherever you get your podcast, and listen to the Tavis Smiley podcast version of this live program at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today. In our second hour, a conversation with Claremont McKenna College professor and author Nicholas Bukola about his latest text. It's called One Man's Freedom, Goldwater, King, and the Struggle Over an American Ideal. Of course, the Goldwater would be Barry, and the King would be MLK. The Struggle Over an American Ideal. It's an amazing text about these two men. It is sure to be a classic. We'll jump straight away into it in our second hour, for the hour, with Professor Nicholas Bukola of Claremont McKenna College. In our third hour, two conversations. Up first, Boston Globe film critic Odie Henderson with his top 10 films of the year and a tribute to the cinematic legacy of filmmaker Rob Reiner. On the B side of hour three,
hang all the mistletoe, I'm gonna get to know you better this Christmas. And as we trim the tree, how much fun it's gonna be together this Christmas. The fireside is blazing bright, we're caroling through the night, and this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me.
it is the classic Christmas song, It Ain't Christmas Until We Hear This Christmas, from the late, great Donny Hathaway. Today, our annual conversation with the woman who wrote the song, Nadine McKenna. She was working in the U.S. Post Office in Chicago. I'll just pause there. But the story of how she wrote this song with these amazing lyrics and how she got the song to Donny Hathaway is a story you must hear if you've never heard it. Of course, she tells it every year on this program. It is my favorite Christmas song, and I love Nadine McKenna out of Chicago. And so she joins us today on the B side of hour three. You may recall a couple years ago, she had a stroke. And last year could not join us, recovering from her stroke. She is making great progress, I'm thankful to say. Thank God for Jesus, making great progress in her stroke recovery, and good enough to appear with us again this year on the B side of hour three to tell the backstory of how this song, this Christmas, came to be. Look forward to that conversation with Nadine McKenna. But in this first hour, two more conversations on the B side. Christopher Cook on his progressive RootsAction report on the Democratic Party's 2024 campaign for president. We teed this up a few days ago when this report first came out, but the author of the report, this progressive report on what the Democratic Party did and didn't do that led to that loss last year, is all detailed in this report. We're still waiting for the DNC to release their action report on how they see this campaign, what their post-mortem is. Maybe it will never come at this point. But this progressive organization, RootsAction, has their report out, and the author of that report, Christopher Cook, will join us today on the B side of this hour. But we commenced today's show with this as promised. We have been in the vault for the last couple of days. I am blessed to have a 30-year vault of interviews with pretty much everybody. And sometimes it takes us a while to locate these things, much less to edit them for radio. And so we have found the interview, the conversation with Rob Reiner and his son Nick from 2016. And I'm going to play some of that conversation with you. You can hear Nick in his own voice a few years ago in conversation with me about this film called Being Charlie, the film that he did with his father, based loosely on his own life, his own drug addiction, and search for belonging. So we'll play some of that conversation for you when we come forward. But at the moment, here's what we know. Nick Reiner is scheduled to appear in California court today. I'm live on the air. For those in Southern California watching television, for that matter, across the nation, I'm sure it's major news. He's scheduled to be in court this morning at 8:30 Pacific time. That would be right about now. As I record this show live here in Los Angeles. I'm on the air and can't see whether or not he's actually in the courtroom, but the arraignment and plea hearing is today. Wednesday, scheduled again for 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. This program runs across the country, different times, different markets, but scheduled to be in court today, Wednesday, for the arraignment and plea hearing. The 32-year-old is being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances. LADA Nathan Hochman announced yesterday that would be those would be the charges. Hochman said the charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison without parole or the death penalty, but that his office has not decided which to pursue. Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner were found dead, of course, in their home over the weekend. Newly released video shows Nick Reiner inside a gas station convenience store hours after the killings and just moments before he was arrested on Sunday. Video from outside the store shows the LAPD arriving and arresting him. He did not resist arrest, according to the police and according to the video. The DA has also confirmed that Rob and Michelle Reiner were indeed stabbed to death. It is not clear as of right now when exactly the attack actually happened or how long the couple had been dead before their bodies were discovered on Sunday. The day before, as we reported earlier this week, they'd gone to a party at Conan O'Brien's where Rob and Nick Reiner had a brief but loud argument, according to sources who were there. So that's basically what we know at this hour. So the timing is interesting that we have finally found this conversation to bring to you on the day that he is being arraigned and having his plea hearing inside of a courtroom here in Southern California for the murder of his parents, 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances. So that's where we are today in this sad saga of what happened to Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner. When we come forward, I will tee up for you my conversation with Rob and Nick from 2016. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
1 year ago, flames tore through Altadena and Eaton Canyon, changing lives forever. From the ashes, can a beloved community rise stronger? Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, host of First Things First, weekday mornings, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580. And I'm inviting you to join us on Wednesday, January 7th, as we broadcast live from Perry's Joint on the 1-year anniversary of this horrific and devastating fire. We're remembering those we lost, celebrating the heroes and sheroes who answered the call, and honoring the resilience of neighbors who are determined to rebuild together.
I've been a strong black woman a long time, and I can't just break down now.
Hear the stories of survival, the voices of recovery, the spirit of community that the fire couldn't destroy, and yes, the angst of those who still do not know where they go from here.
Yeah, where am I gonna go?
At KBLA Talk 1580, we don't just cover the story, we're part of this community, and we've done our level best to hold those responsible for this fire accountable. And 1 year later, we're still standing together.
It is my hopes that black people will rebuild those homes.
So join us live at Perry's Joint, 2051 Lincoln Avenue in Pasadena, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Wednesday, January 7th, as we commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire. Because some stories demand to be remembered.
This too shall pass.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu, the daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
If a Lenovo computer for your business is on your holiday list, don't shop around. Just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com. It's your last chance to get exclusive deals on the PCs you want for your business, like the ThinkPad X9 14 Aura Edition and Yoga 7i 2-in-1. So avoid all that shopping chaos and price comparing, and just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com, where PCs are up to 35% off. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, indeed. I am told at the moment, again, I'm live on the air, so forgive me if I'm slightly behind. I don't think we are. But there's still some question about whether or not Nick Reiner has been medically cleared to actually be transferred from court to jail. Apparently, they were trying to arraign him yesterday, and that did not happen because he had not been medically cleared to be transferred again from court to jail. So as soon as I know whether or not he is actually in court being arraigned, you will know. But that's what we know at the moment, that there's still been some delay based on his medical clearance to be transferred from court to jail. All right, here now, a taste of my conversation with Rob and Nick Reiner from 2016 about the film the two of them worked on together called Being Charlie, a project loosely inspired by his early life that offered an opportunity to help mend a fraught relationship. Take a listen. Delighted to welcome Rob Reiner back to this program. Early in his career, he catapulted to the forefront of American filmmakers with 2 back-to-back films about youth. His latest is a collaboration with his son, Nick. Yes, there is another Reiner. It's called Being Charlie, dramatizing material from his family's own experiences. Nick co-wrote the screenplay about a young man's eventful journey from addiction and despair to recovery and hope. Before we start our conversation with these 2 Reiners, a scene from Being Charlie.
Charlie, come on, man. Come on, talk to me.
Say what? What do you want me to say, huh? What can you say?
You say it. Say it, man.
Say what?
Why are you doing this? Huh? Say it. Be a man and tell me. You're about to throw everything away and you can't even tell me why.
Look, I know what you're gonna say. Work the program? One day at a time, let go and let God? What do I have that's mine?
You got you, man. And that's all you'll ever have.
First of all, Rob, it's a great honor to have you back on this program. You've been in a number of times, but the last time you here, you with your father on this very couch.
That's right. and now I'm with my son on this very couch.
How's your dad doing, by the way?
He's doing great. Just turned 94.
Wow.
Just finished a book, My Life at 93, and now he's writing My Life at 94. So that's what.
Well, he's probably watching anyway. Mr. Reiner, hello.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Hi, Pop.
Hey, Pops. Yeah. And good to have you on for the first time.
Thank you very much for having me.
The first thing I thought when I saw this, Rob, was why a family would take such pain and turn it into art. What's your answer to that?
For that very reason. I mean, it's what we do. I mean, whether you're a writer, a painter, a musician, you take what's happening in your life and you turn it into something that you can express yourself through. And in this case, Nick started working on this even before I was aware that he was doing it. And I think, I don't know, do you think it was that reason that you were doing it? I mean...
Well, I wasn't getting anything out of the program itself, so I thought, what if I got something out of the experience as a whole?
When you say you weren't getting anything out of the program, you mean by that what specifically?
Not nothing, but I was getting some stuff, but I wasn't benefiting fully from it like I saw some other people. Right. So I thought, okay, maybe an interesting way to get better. I didn't think at the time it would do anything for me, but it did end up helping, like processing all of what happened.
It may be too soon, Nick, to even know the answer to this question, but after going to countless rehabs by your own count, why do you think that traditional rehab work wasn't working for you?
Because I think for a lot of people, it's a one-size-fits-all format.
Right.
And addiction and using drugs is very complicated. And even if 2 people are addicts, they could use in totally different ways. And I just think that you can't prescribe, a blanketed program for people like that. And I think if it doesn't work, the person who it doesn't work for, they feel like they're the problem instead of, the program being held accountable for it.
Let me ask this question, and I want to preface it by saying it's a silly question, because if you understand how drug addiction works, it's not a question that one would ever ask. And yet, respectfully, there are people watching right now who look at you and say, how could a guy like Nick Reiner have any kind of problems, much less a drug addiction problem? Your dad is Rob Reiner. Your grandfather is Carl Reiner. How? What in the world do you have to be stressed about? How do you respond to that kind of
There's the answer.
That your dad is Rob Reiner, your dad, I don't know,
I'm glad you prefaced it with that, because I get that a lot. And, I think people, or maybe it'd be an easier answer to say it was the shadow aspect of it all. So, but that's not all that involved me getting into what I got into. But it is hard to carve out an individuality when you have, these etched out personalities looming over you. And especially when you have two generations of, people informing you of what you are in this world.
How does one, Rob, not feel guilty about a bad parenting job when you know that kind of pressure that kind of cloud is looming over your child's life?
Well, you do feel guilty. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that aspect of it. I certainly know what it's like to be the son of, because I've lived my whole life that way. So I knew some of what he was going through, and he has a double whammy of not only me but his grandfather. But the thing that I feel most guilty about is not so much that I can't control. I can't control who I am and whether I'm famous or whatever. But what I do feel bad about is that since facing these issues, I as a parent didn't really know what to do. The first charge of a parent is to keep your child safe. So if you are frightened that your child might do something, you'll, as we say in the movie, you'll listen to anybody with a desk and a diploma. And so I feel bad that I went against some of my own instincts, which is to understand my child better than maybe an expert might tell me this is what you need to be doing. And I feel a little bit bad about that, but this process of making this film made me understand and showed me a little bit more of what Nick was really going through, and I listened to him better than I had before that.
So Nick, tell me then about the screenplay. Tell me how you take this, again, this pain and what has been torment at some level and turn it into this kind of art. Tell me about the screenplay.
Well, first it wasn't pain. It was more like rebellion, and I was like, I want to laugh at this. So me and my buddy Matt, we started writing this sort of half-hour comedy that wasn't too in-depth, and he always wanted to do a project which had both the child's perspective and the parent's perspective. And so it was about 4 years from that point till now of just, working through like getting it to be more of a serious project, and like so yeah, that's sort of what the process is.
Why take the serious route, the dramatic route, versus the comedic route? You do have a couple comedians in your family. Why take that route?
Because, and I've noticed this about talking about this subject, is people don't want to laugh about this. This is serious for people, and it's even deadly for people, and especially when you have that in your family or close to your family, people don't want to laugh. They just they want answers. And the problem about the rehab industry is there's not enough answers for these people that need them.
So Rob, it's not to say that there isn't laughs in this movie. There's plenty of laughs in this movie, but we try to mix it with the seriousness of the subject.
How do you? So if you decide to go the dramatic route, and there are laughs in it to be sure, but if you decide to go the dramatic route, Rob, and not the comedic route, how do you do that without proselytizing?
Well, the thing is to try to make it as honest and real a depiction of what actually happens. So for me, it is finding the ways of blending the humor in with the serious and finding ways to do that. So it is representative of the life experience, which is it's funny at times and it's sad at times. And I think we try to strike that balance. I think we struck a pretty good balance.
And you have to be aware of like what you're making fun of and what you're satirizing, as opposed to like making fun of something that's going to really hurt someone's feelings or making fun of a part that's dumb about it. That is funny to people.
How did you get comfortable, Nick, with putting your story out there? It's one thing for your family and friends to know about it. Now the whole world's going to know about your life story. Why and how did you get comfortable with telling this story?
I was always, very open about it in, my personal life, and, I didn't think people would really judge me on it, and I didn't think, if I come out with this, it'll help other people, but it seems to have had that effect, and that's cool. I mean, I don't know.
Rob, you talked earlier about how you dealt with this as a parent. I'm curious, even though he's not here, how did your father, Mr. Reiner, Carl Reiner, deal with his grandson going through this?
Well, I didn't really tell my father everything that was going on because I didn't think it would be something that would be helpful to him. I mean, we kept it with, I mean, he knew generally speaking what Nick was experiencing, but he didn't know the details or any of that. So, you know, this is probably eye-opening for him as well.
Yeah.
But for me, you know, to get back to the other thing you were just saying, I mean, the thing that's always bothered me, I mean, and I believe AA works for a lot of people, not for everybody, but it works for some people. But the big problem I always had was the second A, which is the anonymous part. And I always felt that, you know, we're talking about people who have real problems, and those problems are emotional things that they're taking drugs to mask, to self-medicate. And to me, the best thing you can do is to talk about it, to destigmatize it, because, you know, I don't know anybody who doesn't have somebody in their family or a good friend or a husband, wife, or whatever that's experiencing, whether it's drugs, alcohol, eating, sex, gambling, whatever it is. And so if we talk about it, then we have a chance to actually do something about it.
Are there particular lessons, Nick, that you wanted to be ensured in the writing of this that would come through?
Yeah. I think the main thing is to question everything, especially when it comes to recovery and treatment and stuff like that. And even if it's not a place that you pay for, it's the AA model is infused in like almost every recovery model that you see. And just like, it's okay if it doesn't work for you. That's not the end of the road.
Has this process, because you referenced this earlier, so I want to come full circle, has this process, and if so, how has it been helpful for you with regard to your addiction?
I think mainly I had a sort of a rough relationship with my dad, not like it's depicted in the movie, but sort of one where we didn't connect so good on things. And so when I saw him in his element directing and, you know, putting forward his best effort and showing his true colors in that way, I got to see how much he really cared about me and really cared about the situation, which he wasn't able to communicate through conversation, which I wasn't either.
I think also I mean, you had mentioned this to me once, Nick, which is that it also gave you something to be passionate about to replace the, you know, the drugs. And
yeah, and I didn't go to high school or college or anything, so this was sort of like a film school for me in a way to learn.
Yeah. At any point in time in the process, Rob, obviously you got your filmmaker's hat on, you're in charge of this project to get it done. How do you keep separate the filmmaker hat, the father? Was there a moment in time filming this where there was any sort of emotional? Many
moments. I mean, it is very, very hard to separate those things, specifically when you're taking from your own experiences. And those things, you know, life imitating art, imitating life, imitating art, it kept spinning around on itself. And there were times when it was very tough for us. I mean, we did go through things in making the film because it dredged up a lot of stuff that we had been through. But I found it to be, we didn't set out to make it be cathartic or be therapeutic, but it turned out to be that. And for me, it was the best, most fulfilling creative experience I've ever had.
Speaking of being that, it is called Being Charlie. And I'm honored to have had the Reiners, Rob and Nick, on this program tonight. Courageous piece of work, beautiful piece of work. Thank you for doing it. Thanks for coming on talking.
Thanks for having us.
My best to your fathers, I see.
Fascinating to hear both of their reflections after all this drama from 2016 about Rob's guilt and how Nick was processing being the grandson of Carl Reiner and the son of Rob Reiner. Fascinating to hear those words out of their mouths, given the situation that they find themselves in, the family. Right now, two quick notes. The clip I played for you, I should have told you earlier, that was actually Common, the artist and actor. It was Common playing a character, interestingly, named Tavis, talking to the Charlie character played by the actor Nick Robinson. Those are the voices you heard in the clip, number one. Number two, we are working right now to post on YouTube, our KBLA YouTube channel, the video of the audio you just heard. You can actually see Nick and Rob in conversation with me. That video will be posted on YouTube before this show ends. I'll let you know when it's up so you can run and see it if you want to see the actual video of that conversation. Finally, while that conversation was playing, we were reprising that for you. Nick Reiner did in fact appear in court here in Los Angeles, did not enter a plea. His arraignment was continued until January the 7th. He is in fact being held without bail, so no bail. Did not say anything today, did not enter a plea. Arraignment continued until January the 7th. When we come forward, before I jump into our conversation with Christopher D. Cook about his RootsAction autopsy on the Democratic Party's election, we're going to play a couple of minutes of the best of Rob Reiner's work. It's going to be fun for you to listen to it so you can pick out the scenes from the various Rob Reiner films you have watched. So, a couple of minutes of the best of Rob Reiner, and you'll figure it out when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. A federal judge is allowing construction to continue on the new White House ballroom. President Trump praised the development during a Hanukkah reception at the White House.
I thank the judge on the case for the courage in making the proper decision, because we didn't want to be held up. We would win that automatically anyway, but we didn't want to be held up or delayed.
At last night's reception, Trump said several times the project will cost $400 million. A San Antonio woman is locked up in Mississippi and accused of placing razor blades inside of bread at 2 Walmart stores. Biloxi police arrested Camille Benson on a charge of attempted mayhem. And after 2 months of debate, the Memphis City Council approved a 2% pay raise for city firefighters. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Get your vehicle ready for all that extra holiday driving at your local Big O Tires. For a limited time, save $100 instantly on select sets of tires with paid installation. For your nearest store, visit BigOTires.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
With the Rams already qualifying for the NFC playoffs, Chargers fans are wondering what their team needs to do to make it to the postseason. The 10-4 Chargers have 3 ways to clinch a playoff spot Sunday in the AFC. They can clinch one of the 3 wildcard slots where they win Sunday at Dallas, and if Houston or Indianapolis lose on Sunday. Houston is at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. Indianapolis is at home against San Francisco. The Chargers should put their hopes on the 49ers. There is no way Houston is losing at home to the Raiders. The Chargers' final 2 regular season games are against Houston and Denver. The UCLA women's basketball team, ranked 4th in the country, had a practice game Tuesday night at Pauley Pavilion. They beat Cal Poly 115-28. Point guard Kiki Rice almost outscored the entire Cal Poly team by herself. She led the 10-1 Bruins with 23 points. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Malik Books on celebrating 35 years in business.
It's a celebration.
Malik Books proudly houses one of the largest African American and diverse children's books in the nation. This is the perfect time to pick up holiday reads, meaningful gifts, and to support literacy in our community. For 35 years, Malik Books has stood strong in the Black Book Revolution, uplifting stories that heal, inspire, and transform. One reader at a time. Change your thoughts, change your life. Books are the gift that keeps giving. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, congratulations to Malik Books on 35 years of culture, pride, and community.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
You are indeed. Once again, in case you missed any of our reprised conversation with Rob and Nick Reiner from 2016, we are working right now to post the video of that conversation on our YouTube channel. So I'm sure later today it'll be trending everywhere and people can actually see the video of that conversation. But so stand by for that. As soon as it's up, I will let you know. I'm pushing toward a conversation with Christopher D. Cook, author of the stinging RootsAction autopsy about the Democratic Party's 2024 campaign for president. One last thing to do before I get to Christopher Cook, though. Here now is some sound, just under a couple minutes of the best, some of the best of Rob Reiner's amazing film credits. Take a listen. If you're a Rob Reiner fan, you'll pick out the scenes. I'm not going to tell you what they are. Maybe I'll tell you afterwards, but just take a listen and figure it out for yourself. This is some of the best of Rob Reiner.
I will have imparted to you all the wisdom that I have acquired in my 70-plus years on this planet about creating opportunity.
You're free to say anything you want, but if anyone disagrees with you, they're either thrown into jail or called a meathead, right?
I wanted to capture the sights, the sounds, the smells of a hard-working rock band on the road.
Like Nick.
Nick?
Yeah, Nick. Nick's a real name. Nick's your buddy.
But what's this? Chambers is making his move. The chance is fading on it. Chambers at the tape. The crowd goes wild.
Never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
Oh, God.
I'll have what she's having.
But when I got Misery here, everything changed. She just makes me smile so.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
First, you have to be friends. You have to like each other. Then you neck. This could go on for years.
Being president of this country is entirely about character.
You are sexy. Look at yourself. You're incredible. You're my masterpiece.
Never pass up a bathroom. Never waste a hard-on. And never trust a fart.
That idiot? What, are you kidding me? You know, she's really got to stop doing this.
Who the has the gall to call his house on a Tuesday night?
Now, the first, and this is the most important, you have to find your passion.
Just a taste of the best of Rob Reiner. So here's what you heard. Ready? All right. The Bear, All in the Family, This is Spinal Tap, The Sure Thing, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, you knew that one, right? Misery, A Few Good Men, we all knew that one. Sleepless in Seattle, The American President, I love that film. The First Wives Club, The Bucket List, New Girl, The Wolf of Wall Street, and again, The Bear. Again, just a taste of the best of Rob Reiner. In case you've just tuned in, his son Nick appeared in court this morning, a brief appearance, did not enter a plea. His arraignment continued now to January the 7th. He is being held without bail. And once again, finally, we'll let you know when the YouTube video of that conversation that we played for you earlier will be posted. Now, to Christopher D. Cook, author of the stinging RootsAction autopsy about the DNC's campaign for president, revealing how his findings have been received and how Democrats should respond into the future given this report. Christopher, thanks for your patience to have to deal with all that breaking news, but good to have you on the program. How are you today, sir?
Hi, Tavis. It's great to be with you. Yeah.
It's good to have you on the
Sorry
program.
about Rob Reiner.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, we are all. I mean, it's a shock. I think a shock to the entire country and parents and children and everybody just trying to, process their way through this and make some sense of it. But I am grateful to you again for your patience and want to push forward now with this conversation with you about this report. So we talked about this on the program a week or so ago when the report initially dropped. I'm glad we got you on today now as the author of the report. But let me just start by asking you to top line those 5 reasons. This audience has already heard me go into detail about this. But very quickly, give me the 5 reasons that you all have argued with detail in this report that Democrats lost that race. Kamala Harris loses to Donald Trump. You detail 5 reasons. Tell me what they are, and we'll jump from there, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again. So we really did an exhaustive, degree of research on this. Read through countless articles and studies and data sets and everything else. The biggest piece of information that people need to know is that Harris lost 6.8 million voters who had voted for Biden in 2020. Most of them just simply did not vote. This is really the foremost critical error and failure of the campaign, simply not getting the votes that Biden got that should have been in the Democratic column. We can go into more detail about why and who they were and all that. Biden's betrayal is what I call reason number 2. I mean, it's astounding that he broke his pledge to be a bridge president and then clung to power, and even those around him didn't seem to be able to get him to release his grip on that until it was almost way too late. I was one of the first people, along with RootsAction, writing articles in early 2022 calling for Biden to step down and step aside, not step down from the presidency, but not run again. So that was obviously a disastrous mistake. And then what we see matters that were much more in the control of the Harris campaign and the Democratic Party leadership. They abandoned the working class base, maybe not entirely, but mostly. They took them for granted. This is a long time traditional base of the Democratic Party, blue collar voters, union voters, working class people. And millions of them were just disenchanted and either voted for Trump or didn't vote at all. Critical loss there. The Gaza, what we call the Gaza effect of Biden's just horrendous policy of continuing to support Israel far beyond the point of defending itself, going far deep into genocidal war crimes and still supporting Israel. And then Harris astoundingly not finding any way to separate herself or shift. There were a couple tone shifts, but really no policy shift. That was just a critical mistake, and the polls show that she would have gained far more than she would have lost if she had taken a strong stance on Israel at that stage. And then losing young voters, these young voters who were critical to Obama's winning coalition and also actually to Biden's win. They dropped off significantly as well. And we can go into more detail about that. But that's sort of the big picture, those big 5 reasons.
Yeah. So those are the 5 reasons. Let me just ask you now, before I push forward here, what kind of response you have received? I know the kind of response we had when we had the conversation about this report on this program, but you're talking to a largely progressive audience of listeners all across the country who I'm grateful to have tune into this program every single day. So I know the kind of response that I received from the audience when we talked about it. But what kind of response has RootsAction received to this report? It is it's a tough report for Democrats to have to read.
Yeah, I mean, my first hope is that they read it, that the leadership, Ken Martin and the DNC, read this report carefully. They're not going to tell us publicly, "Oh, you're right, we agree, we screwed up." In some ideal bizarro world, maybe people would finally get honest like that, but it's just not the way it goes, right? So we hope, I hope that they read it and they take it seriously. Part of this, though, is that we can get into is a structural issue with the Democratic Party and big donors, corporate donors, and sort of adhering as much as they need to those interests, and not basically violating that financial friendship. So that really gets in the way, I think, of them making a more fundamental change. But what we are seeing, so we've gotten some decent, we got some great coverage in The Guardian, and actually some right-wing papers like the Washington Examiner covered it. Maybe Fox News will, who knows? But, so there's a fair amount of interest, and the question is whether the people in power are going to read this.
When we come forward, I want to talk about those structural issues that you put your finger on right now, and I love the way you put it, that financial friendship with those big donors. We'll talk about that financial friendship because I hear the critique, and it's a legitimate critique. The question to me is always, but then what? And I'm not suggesting they ought to be in bed with these, big money and big biz bosses, this billionaire bros club. I'm sick of that as much as anybody else. But what becomes the alternative then? Can Democrats turn that money down and rely on small money donations from everyday people who support their agenda? I don't know that that's an answer to the prayer either, particularly given, as we discussed already on this program, they had to borrow $15 million a few days ago just to make payroll. So what's the alternative to the financial friendship with these big donors? What are these structural issues that Chris is putting his finger on? We'll go a little deeper when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
From Leimert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
I got the champagne. Everybody's glass.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates our own Keith Underwood, host of the weekend entertainment show Black in the Green Room, on his recent honor at the annual National Arts and Entertainment Journalism Awards. Keith received a first place award presented by the Los Angeles Press Club for his entertainment reporting, and we couldn't be prouder. Congratulations, Keith, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Christopher D. Cook, author of the RootsAction autopsy on the DNC losing this race to Donald Trump just over a year ago. So my time's getting tight, Christopher, but tell me a bit more about these structural issues. I suspect you're mostly talking about, as you already teed up, this bromance. This romance that that Democrats have with these big donors. But you heard my question earlier.
Yeah.
I love how you put it, this financial friendship. But if they were to end that friendship, and some friends ought to be former friends. I've learned that in my own life, that everybody ain't meant to be a lifelong friend. I got some former friends, trust and believe.
Sure.
But if they abandon that friendship, then what?
Yeah. No, it is a bind. Let's be clear. I think that the clearest thing I can see is that voters are so fed up with that larger financial corporate dominated system. Even voters on the right are often fed up with that kind of politics and sort of airborne politics that just sort of drops these corporate messages writ large and waters down policies. And so, what we see, and I document this in my report, in all kinds of red states in Missouri and Alaska and Nebraska and other places, voters have continually supported progressive policies. Maybe not always progressive candidates, but they've supported increasing the minimum wage. They've supported paid sick leave in many of these states, rejecting school vouchers and school privatization, things like that. I think that voters, and we saw this with Bernie Sanders, people are just hungry for authenticity, politicians with a real solid spine and backbone, who are clearly principled, who don't water down their policies. One of the disasters with Kamala Harris is that she's been all over the place. She, in terms of her political identity, it's just, sometimes she's seemed almost lefty, but most of the time, really, she's been a center-right Democrat. And people can sniff that out. And, the ad campaigns, bring all that together, all those contradictions. So we need candidates and a party that have serious backbone and commitment and principles, and that can see that what voters want is something fundamentally different. They want much more direct grassroots politics. They want policies that are going to help them their daily lives. They want politicians to stop watering things down. We're seeing this with the ACA now. The ACA is fundamentally, has some serious flaws. The answer is not to get rid of it unless we could go to single payer healthcare and Medicare for all. But, so the Republican response is a disaster, but maintaining what we have is a result of watered down democratic policies. We need something where politicians are going to stand up, and they have to confront Citizens United and challenge it much more directly. We talk about this in the report.
Right.
There are certain funders like AIPAC, the American Israeli Political Action Committee. They fund politicians, massively, $51.8 million in 2024. They have to be, that has to be a divorce there. They have to become former friends.
Let me since you mentioned the Affordable Care Act, ACA, better known as Obamacare, there is breaking news on that today. 4 centrist Republicans have joined Democrats, giving Democrats the 218 signatures they need to force a vote on a 3-year extension of the Obamacare subsidies that are set to expire for millions of Americans on the last day of this month. We discussed this breaking news yesterday. The Republicans, Speaker Mike Johnson, I mentioned while we were on the air yesterday, said there will be no vote on extending these subsidies, and so that means your premiums are going, yours and mine, frankly, are about to go through the roof for millions of Americans. But now, we were told that there are 4 Republicans who have joined Democrats to give Democrats the 218 they need. All Democrats are in alignment. Now they got 4 Republicans joining them, crossing the aisle, to be able to force this vote on a 3-year extension of the Obamacare subsidies. Now, they can force the vote. Doesn't necessarily mean they win the vote. We shall see. But that's the latest update on your health care premiums. Our remaining moments with Mr. Cook when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
What make you? Yeah.
What
California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped. Opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the Current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
All you have to do is download the app, see if you qualify. $750. Boom.
You think I should call her back?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
All right.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Get ahead with Current. Text ACTION to 323232 to sign up today. That's ACTION to 323232. ACTION to 323232. ACTION to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by Fineco Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed. Christopher Cook, I've got 2 minutes left here. I want to yield the balance of my time to you, sir, author of the RootsAction autopsy on the Democratic campaign for president last year. What kind of candidate? Is there a profile of the kind of candidate that Democrats need to be running for president the next time around, given what your report reveals?
Great question. Yeah, I mean, Bernie Sanders, although he's now too old, unfortunately, but I think he is still the model. People could look to AOC and some other leaders. I think that the basic is a candidate who views progressive populism in terms of everyday people's everyday needs and concerns, and that puts working people in the forefront of their fight, and that does not back down from a fight, and it keeps these principles of, defending workers' rights, increasing, minimum wage, Medicare for all, single payer, a lot of other progressive policies. We outline this in my autopsy report, which people can check out at rootsaction.org, or just Google autopsy RootsAction. And that kind of candidate who's also going to stand up strong and reject APAC money and reject other corporate interest money. What they can do is follow Bernie's model of massive numbers of smaller donations. And in the meantime, while we have Citizens United ruling the land, they can diversify their portfolio of corporate money if they somehow seem to have to take it, but really try to reject the corporate PAC money altogether.
I got 45 seconds here. Do you think they could make that narrative work? In other words, saying to Democratic donors, to Democratic supporters, voters, that we are going to do something radical. We're going to turn down all this corporate money, but y'all are going to have to step up with these small dollar donations. Could they sell that story?
I think they can. I mean, there might be some races where that's harder than others, but I think that the broader message is, we know you're sick and tired of this, and we know that it waters down our politics. I've said this before, a big tent, when it gets too big, the fabric stretches and tears and tatters. If you've got policies on the right and the left, it starts to become mush and nothing, and then you don't stand for anything.
Yeah.
So we need a party and candidates to be very clear minded in their principles, and I think people are hungry for the progressive populist message.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm curious as to whether or not Democratic voters would buy that message. I want to believe that they would.
Yeah.
That would be the answer to the big money, and I take your point. The report is called Autopsy: How Democrats Lost the White House, a RootsAction report on the 2024 presidential election. The author is Christopher D. Cook, I've been honored to have had on this program. Christopher, thank you for your work and your witness, and thank you for this conversation, sir.
Tavis, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
What an honor. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. A federal judge is allowing construction to continue on the new White House ballroom. President Trump praised the development during a Hanukkah reception at the White House.
I thank the judge on the case for the courage in making the proper decision, because we didn't want to be held up. We would win that automatically anyway, but we didn't want to be held up and delayed.